In the golden narrative of the House of Windsor, certain images are seared into our collective memory. A radiant bride on the steps of St. Paul's, a queen alone in her grief, and, in more recent years, the joyful, unfiltered antics of a young prince named Louis, whose every stolen glance and cheeky grin became a global antidote to royal formality. Just moments ago, that narrative fractured. Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace have issued a joint, devastating statement, confirming tragic news concerning Prince Louis. This is Royal Report 24/7, and we're bringing you the initial details and context as they stand. If you rely on us for sensitive, respectful coverage during these unfolding royal moments, please subscribe now. We will be your source for verified updates, not speculation, in the difficult hours and days ahead. The statement, delivered simultaneously from both households, was a model of heartbreaking brevity. It read, "The King, alongside the Prince and Princess of Wales, share the tragic news that Prince Louis was involved in a serious medical emergency earlier today. He is currently receiving specialist care. The family are by his side and ask for the public's understanding, prayers, and privacy at this profoundly distressing time." The digital world, so often a space of noise, fell into a stunned silence. Then the questions born of shock and dread began. What kind of emergency? How serious is serious? The palace's deliberate, unified use of the word tragic in the opening line is not a term deployed lightly. It is a word from the constitutional protocol of profound crisis, a lexical signal reserved for events that threaten to reshape the dynasty's future and shatter the private world of its members. That it was a joint statement bearing the authority of both the monarch and the heir underscores a gravity that has united the institution in a single, awful focused understand the seismic magnitude of this moment. We must first appreciate the unique place Prince Louis of Wales holds, not just within the line of succession, but within the global public imagination. Born in April 2018, his arrival came as the nation was still navigating the complex aftershocks of the Brexit referendum, and the monarchy itself was steadying its course after the seismic departures of the Duke of York and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Louis entered a world in flux, and yet, through the careful, modern curation of his parents, he became something priceless, a symbol of unscripted normalcy. While his elder siblings, Prince George and Princess Charlotte, have gradually learned the weight of their future destinies. George's face often showing a solemn awareness beyond his years, Charlotte embodying a poised, early sense of duty. Louis has, until this moment, existed in a cherished, protected bubble of childhood innocence. The timeline is crucial and chilling. According to these sources, the incident took place shortly after midday. First responders, including a specialist pediatric trauma team, were on the scene with alarming speed. Unverified reports from emergency service listeners suggest a call was placed describing a pediatric cardiac or respiratory crisis. The decision was made almost instantly to bypass local hospitals and transport Louis directly, via a secured medical convoy with a police escort, to a leading London specialist pediatric intensive care unit. The fact that he was not airlifted, sources suggest, was a clinical decision. The ground transfer with a full mobile intensive care team was deemed faster and more stable for his specific condition. The cold, logistical details paint their own terrifying picture. This was a race against time. The focus now, beyond the immediate medical battle being waged in a silent, sterile room, shifts irrevocably to his parents, the Prince and Princess of Wales. We must consider their personal histories to feel the full weight of their nightmare. William, who at 15 walked behind his mother's coffin with a composure that masked a trauma which shaped his entire adult life, now faces a parent's deepest, most primal terror. The helplessness he felt as a boy, but now magnified 1,000-fold as a father. His entire philosophy of parenting, of providing a normal, secure, and emotionally open childhood as a protective shell against the pressures of destiny, has been pierced in the most brutal way possible. Catherine, the radiant, steady pillar of the family, renowned for her groundbreaking advocacy on the importance of early childhood development and mental well-being, is now living the inverse of every principle she champions. Her life's work, to ensure children have the best possible start, collides with a cruel randomness that no amount of love or advocacy can shield against. The wider family's response is mobilizing with a silent, grim urgency that transcends all recent tensions. King Charles III and Queen Camilla, we are told, were at Birk Hall in Scotland when the call came. They departed for London immediately by royal flight, with all their scheduled engagement for the coming week cancelled indefinitely. The king, himself in the midst of a carefully managed treatment regimen for cancer, has reportedly instructed his medical team to work in tandem with Louis's where relevant, his own health concerns now entirely secondary. A poignant and telling detail. It is reported that the king's first instruction was to ensure that every possible resource of the crown, its connections, its influence, its wealth, was placed without hesitation at the disposal of Louis's medical team. The Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh are similarly standing by. The royal family, for all its famed and often fractured internal dynamics, possesses a deep, ingrained protocol for crisis, one that automatically triggers a closing of ranks. The firm becomes a fortress, its walls manned not by courtiers, but by family. The public and media reaction is a study in collective shock. Broadcast schedules on national networks have been interrupted for solemn news bulletins. Social media feeds, moments ago filled with the usual cacophony of daily life, are now streams of condolence, prayer, and shared disbelief. There's a palpable global holding of breath. This event touches something universal and visceral, transcending mere interest in royalty. It is the fear every parent unconsciously carries, now visiting a family whose lives are lived under a relentless, magnifying spotlight. The contrast between the image of Louis's jubilant, cake-smeared face at his mother's 40th birthday photos and the stark, formal language of the palace statement creates a cognitive dissonance that is deeply painful. But what happens now? The palaces will now enter a period of absolute informational blackout. This is not secrecy for its own sake, but a medically and ethically necessary silence. Updates will be scarce, measured potentially in days, not hours, and will only come if there is a significant, definitive change in his condition. The Wales family will retreat into a fortress of privacy, protected by a wall of well-understood public sympathy and the formidable machinery of royal protection. The world's media, camped at a respectful distance from the hospital and the palaces, will face an agonizing wait with no story to report but the passing of time that I in this void. Analysis turns inevitably to the long-term ramifications, a cold exercise that feels necessary, yet jarring amidst the raw emotion. The constitutional impact is direct. Prince Louis is fourth in line to the throne. While the line of succession is clear and would proceed automatically, the emotional and symbolic void his serious illness, or God forbid, his loss, would create is incalculable. It would cast a